Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Peter Weber gives advice for Clayton as he gets ready for Women Tell All.
Just straight up ask whatever straight up question you want to ask to Shannon, whoever it may be. Why was that done? And hopefully they'll be honest with you and get whatever answers. I guess at that point, though, it's like, what does it really matter? Plus,
Lauren and Arie Luyendyk on how Clayton should deal with the social media backlash.
You can't let it play into your insecurities, and you have to, sometimes just shut off your phone and not look at it.
Plus, our hometown dates have been revealed, and we are down to the final four. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, I don't know how we did it, but we are ready for hometowns.
I mean, it feels right because I feel confident in these four, but it also feels like it happened out of absolutely nowhere.
I don't know. Yeah, it was a fast finish to the final four, but here we are, and we got a lot to break down in this episode. But I know that you spoke to a former Bachelor this week.
Yes, of course. Peter Weber. He's heard the comparisons, you guys. He knows people think he is like Clayton, which means I had to ask him for advice for Clayton. We know the Women Tell All tapes this week. So this was what Peter had to say during an interview with Peter and Dustin about Clayton and the upcoming Women Tell All taping.
I think for Clayton, though, I mean, I've seen a little bit here where he's like, he feels bad about the decisions and the public scrutiny and all this.
He's apologizing. Go
and just straight up ask whatever straight up question you want to ask to Shannon, whoever it may be. Why was that done? And hopefully they'll be honest with you and get whatever answers. I guess at that point, though, it's like, what does it really matter? What's done is done. Hopefully he's happy and with someone now. It's all been filmed and it's done with, but so it's not really going to change anything. But
I think he should step into more so not the nice guy role and maybe just take in control of the Women Tell All and not even asking, why were you acting like this? But like, this is wrong of you. You shouldn't have done this. You were playing these games on me, and it's not right. And I would like to see him take that role because he is a nice guy and he probably wants to make everyone feel comfortable. And it's going to be very uncomfortable for him, I'm sure. Yeah, but I'd like to see him just take control, and
I agree.
Control it all.
It's gonna get heated.
It's going to get heated, and I feel like everyone should go listen to that podcast with Peter and Dustin because even when Peter's trying to comment as a viewer, he cannot help but drop little things about production and what he kind of felt like might have been a line fed there, this or that. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell he can't help himself. So there was a lot of little nuggets in there about behind the scenes, I think. So.
Yes, totally. I can't wait for Peter Weber's book eventually. He's going to just spill it all.
I think so too. But you caught up with another Bachelor.
Bachelor, yes.
Not great at making decisions, but it worked out.
It did work out for him in the end. Who would have thought? But yes, Arie and Lauren Luyendyk, they are happily married, have 3 babies, but he definitely knows a thing or two about getting some social media hate during his season of The Bachelor. So he gave advice to Clayton on how to deal with that. Take a look. A lot of people have been giving Clayton a lot of social media hate. Any advice on how to deal with that? And how hard was that for you to kind of deal with that as well? Because all Bachelorettes, get their social media hate.
Yeah.
We haven't actually watched this season. We've heard it's a really good season though from our friends. Mm-hmm. So it's entertaining. But yeah, as far as getting hate on social, it's you got to have thick skin if you're going to be the lead of The Bachelor and also as a contestant. So you just can't let it play into your insecurities, and you have to, sometimes just shut off your phone and not look at it.
Yeah, I mean, don't read your comments maybe right now because it's probably crazy.
Yeah.
Just take some time away and let yourself process your emotions away from everyone else's influence.
You can't let the general public, influence the way you feel about the person you're with or your situation, because ultimately you know what's best for yourself. Mm-hmm. And, you can't let the comments get to you.
Yeah. And the people who watch the show don't know everything. They only know what they see on TV.
Yeah.
Totally. So. Yeah, I feel like Arie back in the day, people definitely gave it to him.
I mean, talk about 2 people who need Clayton. Like Clayton needs in a support group right now. Like I would love to see that text chain going off. Arie, Clayton, and Peter, and like former Bachelors. I don't think they have one like the Bachelorettes, but I think this guy needs one.
He really does. He needs some support right about now because things are about to get very interesting. So let's talk about last night's episode. What was the Bachelor buzzword that summed it up for you?
I went cutthroat because obviously we mentioned, I think we started the episode with 9 or 10 girls. We're down to 4. The whole vibe felt very cutthroat to me. The Sarah stuff from Sarah's perspective and from the other girls felt cutthroat, like all gloves were off. Clayton kind of laying down the law for the first time. It felt like a more intense 2 hours than we've seen. It's been, where was this energy with Shanae?
I was just going to say that. Like, I mean, we'll talk more about Sarah later, but like Sarah fake cries and he's like, you're done. Shanae makes fun of somebody for having mental health issues and things like that. And she stays for weeks.
3 roses.
Right. I don't get it.
What was your word?
Mine was therapy. I mean, who would have thought these therapy sessions would have showed everybody their true colors? It was an interesting date.
It was a lot. I almost felt bad for them. And like, I thought they were overreacting when it started, but they clearly must have felt pressure because they all kind of either went there or like left because they didn't want to, which I thought was really interesting and kind of sad a little bit, honestly.
Right.
Like, it felt like the show does a lot for your like mentally already. I don't know if we need to this far in try to get them to like go there. I don't know. It felt a little weird to me.
No, totally. Especially in the grand scheme of things, they've only known this guy for a couple weeks. I mean, and now you're sitting down for a therapy session with them. It just felt a little odd to me.
And like the group prompts when they've done therapy dates feel a little better because they're like supporting each other. Right. This felt a little too personal. And I know we always say they don't have these deep talks on the show, but like they were really just making them like express their inner trauma. Like we weren't talking about what do you want in a relationship. If this was a relationship therapist and these women, realized they wanted 10 kids and Clayton wanted 2, that would be something to discuss here. But this was like basically cry for Clayton is what it felt like.
Seriously. And also still, Clayton's never put on the hot seat with anything. We still know nothing about this guy. I don't get it.
Absolutely nothing about this.
Right. Man. It's so it is really unfair because like you said, these girls are put in the hot seat, but Clayton kind of just scoots on by and everything is fine with him. Like there's never anything wrong with him, but it's always the girls. I don't know. Maybe they don't like him. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. But let's talk about who in a love story sense. Who are you shipping right now with Clayton?
I like Susie this week. I mean, I feel like we really haven't seen too much of her or get to know her a little bit. She totally is like a Hannah Brown 2.0. But I liked her. I liked their date. They seem to have a good vibe together and they seem to really get along. I was all about Susie this episode.
I loved Susie in that red dress. I'll tell you that much.
Oh my God. When they do the fashion spree dates, that it's definitely always somebody that is a front runner. That seems to be like the trend. We saw it with Brian, with Rachel. Anybody that has these really over the top, lavish, we're going to buy you designer duds, then it's usually a front runner. And I love when they always come back with the numerous shopping bags and they're like, oh, hey girls.
I know, which I thought that was so interesting for so many reasons. I think Susie's gorgeous. I saw Hannah Brown on her Instagram story. It was so funny. Was like said to her boyfriend, she's like, well, I know I look good in this dress because Susie looks good in this dress. Like she was kind of playing into the like we look alike thing, which I loved. And I love that she's watching because I feel like she never used to post about watching it in the last couple of years. But I also thought it was interesting because it plays into the Sarah stuff with the girls, how they reacted to Susie coming back with those bags. They didn't seem mad at Susie for bragging, but they were happy for her, a little jealous, naturally, Gabby, kind of whatever, but they seemed to embrace it. And Susie definitely has a good rapport with the girls. It does make me laugh though, when they're like, no one's ever done this for me. It's like, well, Clayton hasn't done it for you either. ABC did, but that's okay.
Totally. Clayton's not spending thousands of dollars on all of these clothes. Let's be real.
I know. And not to be a broken record, but my ship is Rachel again, but I only put it this time to bring up because I felt like it was just so telling in that moment when the drama did go down with Sarah. His first person he pulled aside was Rachel. Mm-hmm. He immediately was like, I know it's not you that the therapist was talking about, giving her that reassurance. He panicked when he realized that she didn't like Sarah. And that's why I think he ultimately sent her home, because he's worried about Rachel and what Rachel thinks and Rachel's feelings.
I definitely agree with you. Rachel is 100% the front runner in all this. And, based on the trailers, he messes it all up, but we'll see how it goes. Who knows? I mean, I feel like this is one of the Bachelors that we really don't know how this ends. Like you can read all the spoilers you want, and we have no idea how this one ends.
I think it's just like Peter Weber. I think it's playing out in real time, and I don't think they know how it's going to end either. And I think that he is probably trying to figure it out. And I would assume with a Rachel, or I don't know, whoever he's talking to, which however leaves, my new prediction, I agree with Peter Weber that he ends up maybe alone on the show, but then maybe something happens in real time. You have Mike Fleiss, the creator, tweeting about historic stuff, which everyone was like, well, that did just happen on Peter's season. And like, we've had, switch ups after the show before. So I don't know what's going to be so different here unless, Clayton ends up with Sally from night one or something.
Oh my God, imagine.
It's going to be so historic, but that would be a good show.
That would be a good twist. That definitely would. All right. Well, this show is all about a good one-liner. So who did yours go to?
I just really liked when Sarah said she honestly had no tears left, because it was like she was quoting Ariana Grande, and it made me laugh in that moment. But I want to talk about Sarah because your line also has to do with Sarah, right?
Yes. Mine was literally right before that with Clayton just going, I'm just going to be real with you. I felt like you were trying to fake cry to me. And I felt like that too. I felt like before he said it, I'm like, this girl really does have no tears left to cry, but
yeah. And I'm so conflicted about Sarah, which I think is a hot take. Cause I think most people, I always go with, if the house usually feels a way that I usually believe that, because it's a lot of people to not like her or to feel a certain way about her. But I kind of felt like, and I might be wrong, I don't know Sarah, obviously, and I definitely think there's some immaturity there. She's the youngest. We know that. She clearly was confident, as they were saying, and there was this whole confident versus cocky argument. But I kind of feel like she got a little screwed, and the girls were jealous of her. And now I assume they all exchanged stories about what happened on dates. And now they're looking back and they're like twisting it in their head because Mara doesn't like Sarah. And now they have a reason to be like, let's get her out almost, and say, you know what? Like, she did make me feel uncomfortable when she told me those things. And maybe she did over exaggerate about her connection with Clayton. I'm not sure. I don't think it was manipulative, her trying to make them insecure. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe she is a mastermind. That's a different strategy. I kind of came off like, oh, they all exchange stories and maybe she's like a little annoying, but I don't know if she was trying to make them feel insecure and horrible, like they had no shot.
I agree with you. And this kind of takes us into our thirstiest moment of the night. Yeah. It's definitely the whole Sarah, Mara, Clayton situation, because I really didn't know who to believe in this situation. I'm like, Mara seemed a little desperate when, she was having that conversation with her. It just seemed really weird. Like what?
I hated that you're getting a little sloppy and it's showing. Go back to the cute, quiet confidence versus cockiness. I was like, that is like, you're supposed to be the mature one in this situation. Like, you sound like a jerk. Yeah. So I didn't like that. But then again, all the girls flipped it and they don't like Sarah anymore either. But they're almost being two-faced, to quote Shanae, because they were her friend, like she said. So I feel like we're missing something.
Right. I feel like that too, because she said, she's like, I had best friends in this house. I'm really confused about all of this. Like, I'm not lying to you. Yeah, maybe maybe she did but maybe because this whole narrative kind of came out of nowhere too. And we're like, why all of a sudden is Sarah a villain? Like, I'm so confused by all of this. We never really saw that from her, but I do agree with you. I mean, you want to be confident in your relationship. Maybe, yes. Maybe she was a little annoying, but I don't think it was enough for them to push her out of the house. Cause that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. Their narrative in this episode, at least, was that she purposely over-exaggerated about her connection with Clayton, so they felt insecure, so they would think they didn't have a chance and make them doubt and ruin their life. That sounds like a lot of steps of leading up to manipulation, and maybe that's what Sarah's plan was, but I kind of felt like Sarah was just one of the girls and definitely got a little cocky, maybe confident, 2 one-on-one dates, but then it was like they twisted her words on her. Right. And Clayton, maybe also this was just he was done. He had dealt with so much BS with Shanae, Cassidy leading up to this that now there was drama. He was ready to be I'm out. Whereas where was this energy with Shanae, like we were saying? And so people are praising him that fake cry. And I do think those tears were a little fake. So I'll give her that. Those were, and even last week when she had the meltdown walking away from the producer, I was and
then she turned it off. She was like, all right, we're done. Yeah. And then when she said that Clayton was crying during their conversation too, that was a weird red flag. So I don't think that she was going to get it to the end. I mean, based on his connections that he has with Rachel, that he has with Gabby, I don't think that she was going to be one of the final 2, but no, it was, I'm still totally on the fence about this one because I don't like how Mara handled the situation. I don't like how Clayton, how Sarah handled it. And I don't like how the girls did. So I really don't know who was at fault in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. But cringe also, just to move it along, since I feel like we kind of tackled thirst with all of those girls. Teddy. Yeah. I just felt like I like Teddy. I think she's so pretty. I think she's so normal. Mm-hmm. I think she will have a great career in Paradise, honestly, and in Bachelor Nation. Mm-hmm. But I cringed a little bit at the end when she was like, I thought he was the one. as the viewer, it was so obvious that Teddy's just every week went down a little bit on his list of who he was going to pick. I don't know.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. Teddy was not final two, final three. Lovely
Or
girl.
final 4.
Or even 4. Yeah. I don't, she must have been seeing something that we weren't seeing, but sayonara, Teddy. I'm sure we'll see you in paradise.
Yeah, I think she'll definitely be around. What was your cringe?
Mine was this Genevieve and Clayton therapy session. I felt really bad for her. This was, I mean, we kind of talked about it at the top. Like, why are you forcing these poor girls to have these therapy sessions with somebody that they barely even know? I mean, Genevieve never even got a one-on-one, or I mean, she had the 2-on-1 date, but she never really had that one-on-one time, and we never really saw them having this deep connection. I'm surprised that she got as far as she did. But yeah, to throw her in this situation and like force her to talk about feelings that she did not want to talk about was so cringe for me.
Yeah. And I'm giving her my rose because #justice for Genevieve. I don't even really like her. Like as a contestant, like it wasn't like I was like, oh, this girl's amazing, great TV. But like, she got so screwed. She got no screen time really for the first couple weeks. Then all of a sudden she's on this 2-on-1 with Shanae where she's accused of being an actress. And like, that was insane. She finally gets the rose. And the next thing she has to do is go on this group date and try to like, she literally said, I don't go to therapy for a reason. Yeah. Like clearly Genevieve, this wasn't the show for you. There's some anxieties we got to work through. No judgment here. Everyone goes through their process on their own way. And it's a good thing she left. I'm glad she did. And I'm glad she kind of stood her ground and didn't like say things she would regret that were on television. Cause like, who knows what she was really thinking in that moment. But like, I feel like she got screwed. It was the 2-on-1 actress accusations. Now she's on this date. And I feel bad. I feel bad for her. And I'm glad no real damage was done to her like life or anything. But I don't know. I feel bad for her, and I'd be curious to see what's going to happen with her next.
I do too. I feel bad for her too. This was just not the right situation for her to be in. But I'm glad you gave her a rose. My rose goes.
You're welcome, Genevieve. If that counts for anything.
It does in my book. Mine goes to Serena. She's too good for this show. I really hope that she does not get screwed over when we go to hometowns and when we go to because it looks like she definitely makes it past hometowns based on the trailer that we see. She's going to fantasy suites. So I really hope that she's not one of the ones that gets screwed over because like I said, I feel like she's too good for this show.
Yeah, she is. And that was a sweet moment with the Clayton giving her the like light bug jar thing about her cousin. In moments like that, you always wonder, like, was it Clayton's idea?
Definitely not. 100% not Clayton's idea.
Yeah, probably not. But I think he does like her. Yeah. And yeah, I'm worried she's going to maybe end up a little heartbroken here because I think she's pretty all in after a gesture like that. And she's just like really pretty and seems smart, like you said. And I think good things for her down the line.
I think so too. All right. Who are we packing and sending on home?
Okay, not to continue my justice for Sarah train, because again, I don't even know if I like totally support her, but I kind of, again, think she got a little screwed because this therapist who like has a peace sign tattoo, not that it matters, but I was just like, this lady already was like rubbing me the wrong way. And she makes this like, she's like clearly working for the producer. She makes this like grand gesture, cryptic statement about someone not being genuine. I think like that. And also, I don't know, like, was that their way of getting Sarah out? Was that the whole plan of the storyline? Were the girls, could they have taken it any other way? It just felt a little contrived to me. And I didn't get good vibes from that therapist. And I didn't like
either. And it's like why
for the producer.
Right. And it's like, why does she have the final say in everything? Like, why did you have to believe her? Like, I don't get it. Just because she's a therapist, I mean, she's, knows exactly what these girls are going through. Maybe she was just turning it on for the cameras. Like, I don't know. Right. I have no idea. I don't know.
They do like lie detectors on this show. Half the time they like rip up the lie detector results. They're like, this is fake. It was just an experiment. But like now we're going to ask like this random therapist in Vienna is like, God like knows everything about these women. Like, I don't know. I didn't like her. She really rubbed me the wrong way.
She rubbed me the wrong way too. This whole date was just a mess. It really was. Yeah. Mine was Sarah's fake tears because,
they were fake. They
were fake. It was really like the making the sounds of your fake crying. Like, I still don't know where I stand on all this, but I do not need the fake tears.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she could have helped her case if she handled it. But then if she didn't like react too much, we would think she was being fake too. So I think when you get stuck in this situation of the show clearly turning on you, or maybe she is this manipulative genius. I don't know. But like she in that moment tried to go for the dramatics and it did backfire because she looked a little silly with the sobbing.
Well, I am so excited for hometowns. We are heading there, always a fun episode. And then we go to fantasy suites. We got women tell all. We're almost there.
Quick shout out to Clayton's dad in that promo.
Oh my God.
Like, going in on him. I'm so excited to meet him.
I cannot wait. It is going to be so good. I mean, I'd love for your predictions. I mean, who do we think this final three is? I mean, we kind of get, I think it's Serena and Rachel definitely, and probably Gabby. That's what I'm going with.
Do you think it's Serena? I feel like we see two blondes. I feel like we see Susie's head
Really?
too.
I don't know. Maybe they're throwing me off. I have no idea.
I definitely think Rachel's the one collapsed on the stairs.
Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely think something happens where she finds out she thinks she's the winner and then she finds out about other women and she leaves or like something like that. And that's why he's like, I'm done. That's maybe a guess. I feel like the Gabby thing is confusing because like they kind of tried to frame her like it was her fault at one point, but then they cut that out of these promos going forward. I think the final two could be Gabby and Susie and Rachel.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I'm going to go with that. What about you?
God, I don't know. I don't know now. I thought it was going to be.
I didn't think I saw Serena, but maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe it could just be hometown footage and the way that they're like editing it together. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was going to be Serena, Rachel, and Gabby, but now you have me confused with Susie because I didn't see Susie in any of these promos, so she could just be. I don't know. Well, maybe it was just also Rachel's hair. I don't know. I thought maybe it was a little difference in the volume, but maybe I'm reading into it wrong too. I can't wait to find out.
I cannot wait to find out. We have a few more weeks to go, but you have a great podcast again this week. Who's on the episode this week?
Yeah, we're throwing it back with Holly Julian, season 2 Bachelor pad winner. She actually knows Sarah in real life, so I'm going to dig in and try to get some info there. And she is the only success story from Bachelor pads. So go down memory lane a little bit if you want to on Us Weekly's Here for the Right Reasons podcast.
I love it. Well, everybody keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep checking back with us every Tuesday on Us Weekly's YouTube channel for Here for the Right Reasons. And Sarah and I will see you guys next week. Bye.